What is going on, PokeMoshPitBeta viewers? My name is Cote, and I've got another little battle here for you today. This is me using a team that I specially constructed for a little series that I'm going to be doing on my channel. It's going to be a 5th gen series where I used a bunch of 1st gen guys against all the other different generations, and see how they stack up today. And this is just a 4th gen version of the team that I constructed, pretty much just to test it out. And we're going to see how well they can do against a bunch of OUs from all generations. This is against a guy named Minion, and let's just dive right into this battle. He's going to lead off with a Skarmory, and I've got a Sand Slash. So obviously I'm going to set up Stealth Rocks, and obviously he wants to set stuff up as well. I have Rapid Spin, however, so I'm going to be able to get rid of his stuff whenever I want. He sets up Spikes, and then he sets up Stealth Rock, which is, first of all, it's weird. You should always set up Rocks first if you have both. And second, it means he doesn't have an attack. So I'm going to go right into my Alakazam because I'm not afraid of it, because his 3rd and 4th moves are probably, I'm not guaranteeing this, but they're probably Whirlwind and Roost. I'm just predicting that. So I'm going to go for Hidden Power Fire, which is going to roll over the Skarmory, and here I make a little bit of a misplay. He sets up Stealth Rock and Spikes, so I want to go to Sand Slash to get rid of those, and I'm predicting him to switch. Unfortunately for me, he doesn't switch, he stays in. Trying to get up more stuff, and I think he actually goes for a Roost here. So I would have been able to kill it because I was faster, and that really stinks because this Skarmory is going to be a pain in my ass the entire match. So obviously I'm going to Rapid Spin away again, and that's what I do. I get rid of it, and he Whirlwinds me out into my Dragonite. Now Dragonite, I want to set up with it, but then again I can't because he does have Whirlwind, so setting up would be pointless if he's just going to win me out. So I just go right for Fire Punch. And then I predict him to Whirlwind me out after he sets up Stealth Rocks because he doesn't want to take another Fire Punch. But he surprises me by sticking around, and he takes the 2nd Fire Punch, and now I'm like, maybe he just wants to keep setting up Spikes. So I thought, well, screw it, I may as well go for a Dragon Dance because he's obviously suiciding with the Skarmory. And he actually doesn't, he surprises me, makes a good play, and he switches out now into Melodic. And Melodic is going to completely wall my Dragonite and be able to hit me back with a super effective Ice Beam. So that was a waste of a turn, but then again a Fire Punch wouldn't have done too much and it would have been more Life Orb on myself, so you know what, that's fine. I go to Slowbro now, and because Slowbro is going to block its Stab Surf, it's going to resist its Stab Surf and the Ice Beam that it probably packs, and I'm going to be able to hit him back with a Toxic. Because my health is so low, I kind of want to set up a Light Screen, just in case, I don't know. And he hits me with Toxic, which really sucks, because Slowbro is my bulky water type, and it would have been able to take a lot of hits. And now it's not going to be able to. So, I got my Light Screen up, and he's going to stick around trying to Toxic Stall me, because he knows I can't exactly hurt him. And I'm going to surprise him here and go for a Toxic, and it misses. So that really stinks, and now I'm predicting him to go back into Skarm, because I can't Toxic it. And I'm going to go for a Slack Off. So already this is looking like it's going to be a very intricate match. It's going to have a lot of switching around. So I definitely don't want to let him get up any kind of entries because that's going to rack up on me. And it's not going to be fun if I have to deal with Stealth Rock and Spikes and all that garbage, and all he has to do is deal with Stealth Rock. So I'm going to go to Sand Slash now, predicting him to Roost. I would have went for Surf if I was positive with my Slowbro. If I was positive he was going to go to Skarm, but I thought getting that health would be more important than killing the Skarm. And I'm kicking myself because that's another missed opportunity to kill this Skarm, which is just going to be effing annoying the entire game. He sets up more Spikes. I just Rapid Spin them away, and I'm like, come on, dude, you're killing me here. There goes my Light Screen that I'd set up, so it didn't really do too much for me actually. So we're just chilling in here. I'm predicting him to switch because he knows he can't touch my Sand Slash, and I didn't know what he'd switch to, though, so I just went to Clefable because Clefable is awesome and nobody knows what it's going to do. He hits me with an Ice Beam, and that doesn't do too much. I wish I still had my Light Screen up, though. And he doesn't know my Clefable had Toxic. I went for Toxic because I have to get this wall. I have to do something to this wall, and it misses again. So I'm 0 for 2 on Toxics, and that really stinks. And now, I know he's going to go to Skarm, but I've got to go for the Toxic again, because even if he's going to go to Skarm anyways, you know, I could have Cosmic Powered, I wouldn't, Soft Boiling is pointless, Cosmic Power wouldn't have done anything, so no big deal. I went for an Encore on him though, hoping that he went for Stealth Rock first, and thankfully he did. So now he's stuck on Stealth Rocks, and that's not going to be able to do anything. I went for Toxic, predicting him to switch, and unfortunately he stuck around because he wanted to dodge the Toxic. I guess he was predicting that, which is a good play by him. He does that again, and I go for Cosmic Power, because even though he's Encored, he could just switch out and switch back in and win me away, so that's why I'm not doing that I'm not trying to do that. So I'm predicting him to switch now, because, like, what's he going to do? Stick around and let me get +6. So I'm going to go to my Sand Slash, because I'm going to... Because I thought he'd go to a fighting type, and luckily for me, he went to something physical, and Sand Slash is a physical monster. I'm going to eat that superpower like it's nothing. He's going to get the attack drop, and defense drop, and I'm just going to Rapid Spin away again, get rid of the Stealth Rock that he had just put up. And I'm not really sure what he wants to do, but I'm thinking maybe he'll stick around because he doesn't really have anything else he wants to do. So I'm going to go to Zapdos, because Zapdos is going to resist the Bullet Punch, it's going to resist a Bug Bite, it's going to resist the Superpower, and it's already -1 attack anyways. So now I'm not predicting him to stay in. I'm kind of thinking he's going to go to Scarm, or he might go to something that I haven't seen yet. So I'm just going to go for T-Bolt. I don't really want to do anything too fancy. I knew he wouldn't stay in, so I couldn't go for Heat Wave. And the T-Bolt turns out to be better than Heat Wave anyways, because it hits this crest, and Heat Wave would have done even less than that, and T-Bolt did next to nothing. But you'll see where that plays in later. So Zapdos doesn't have Toxic anymore. It used to, but then I switched some guys around, and obviously he went to Crest for a reason. I didn't know what attack it would have, whether it would be Charge Beam or Ice Beam. I thought it would be Ice Beam, otherwise he would have went into Melodic, fearing a Heat Wave. Unfortunately for me, or fortunately for me, I switch out to Clefable, and fortunately, again, he sticks around, and fortunately, I get a Toxic off on that Crest, so that thing's not going to be able to stick around for too much longer, because it's going to kill itself. He sets up his dual screens, and he sets up a Reflect, and I Encore the Reflect, and here's why. My thought process was, I'm going to switch to Sand Slash or Zapdos and do something, and I don't exactly want him Ice Beaming me, just in case he predicts it. So now I make it sure he can't Ice Beam, and I'm predicting him to go to Scarm, which he actually turns out to. So I'm going to go into Zapdos instead of the Sand Slash, because that's how pro I am. So now, obviously, I went for T-Bolt last time I was in this situation up against the Steel type. So this time I was like, I'm going to go for Heat Wave. And unfortunately for me, Heat Wave misses, and he sets up Stealth Rocks. So I'm just like, wow, that turn did not go well. So I'm definitely... The Hacks is definitely not on my side with 3 misses right now. I went for Heat Wave again, even though I knew he'd predict that, and in comes the Melodic again. So, I missed Toxic on this thing twice, so I know that I'm going to eventually just have to buck up and kill it. I go for a T-Bolt here, even though I know Ice Beam's coming. I know that my Zapdos is specially defensive EV oriented, so I knew I could take an Ice Beam fairly well, and I do have some special attack EVs. So I knew a T-Bolt would probably do more than half, and luckily for me, that's exactly how it worked out. And I'm just going to go for another T-Bolt here, not to over-predict, because I don't want this... Like, what else is he going to go to? Like, Scarm would get wrecked by it. I'm not sure what else he's got. So in comes the Crest, which is his only real thing to take a Zapdos, and it's not taking it very well. I think his screens already went down, so I'm thinking he might go for more screens. I'm not too sure. He goes for an Ice... I went to Sand Slash because I wanted to get rid of the Stealth Rocks, and I thought he'd set up more screens. Unfortunately for me, he wasn't thinking that hard. He just went for Ice Beam on my Zapdos, and my Sand Slash gets rolled. It's not a big deal. I knew I would have had to take an Ice Beam at some point with it. But, you know, live and learn, and now I'm kind of stuck. If his... And right here, I noticed that my Zam takes 31 points from Stealth Rock, so I'm keeping that in mind. I went for Hidden Power Fire instead of Shadow Ball because I thought he might switch out to Scarm, and honestly, Zam isn't too concerned with Crest anyway. I thought Specs Hidden Power Fire would be a 2-hit KO anyways. He sets up a Light Screen, and he manages to live with like 20 hit points, and he's able to Moonlight. So his 4th move, his recovery move, was Moonlight, and that was awesome because now the Toxic is finally starting to do some real damage to it. And I know that at the end of the day, my Zam will be able to stall this thing out with the Toxic and just casually hitting it. So... there goes the Hidden Power Fire. It's not going to do anything. It's pretty much just canceling out his lefties, honestly. There goes the Ice Beam, and it does just slightly less than half. So, I know I think that I should be able to take another one and then still take Stealth Rock damage when I come back in. So that's kind of what the plan is right now, just have Zam stay in and kill this thing. Unfortunately, I don't kill it, which I guess I got min damage there, and he's able to hit me with the second Ice Beam, and thankfully, my Alakazam lives with 33 hit points, so I know that I will be able to take another Stealth Rock damage upon switching. I just can't let him set up any spikes. And finally, it looks like the intricacy is starting to wear off. Where somebody's eventually going to get a turn of advantage, and things are finally opening up. I don't want to take an Ice Beam from that thing, because Hidden Power Fire is not going to do anything. So I went to Clefable because it's a special wall, and it's able to take Ice Beams very well. And I actually predict him to go to Sizer here, so I double switch here and go into my Zapdos, and there it is. There's the one turn of advantage that I needed, and that was awesome. His Sizer, it gets Superpower, but I'd get a Roost off first, and I wouldn't resist it, and that might hurt a little bit too much. He could Bullet Punch, and I'd resist it, and then I'd get my Roost off, and I'd be fine. And thankfully for me, he stays in Bullet Punches, I get my Roost up, and I am good to go. I'm going to be able to either Heat Wave or T-Bolt. I'm kind of predicting him to switch into Scarm or something. I don't know what I thought he'd do, but I don't exactly want to Heat Wave, but I'm not sure what he's got. So I'm pretty sure I go for T-Bolt, and yes, I do T-Bolt, and luckily for me, he switched into Melodic, which is going to get rolled by the T-Bolt. I guess he thought I'd Heat Wave because he thought that I'd think he'd stay in, which is pretty cool. And things are definitely finally opening up. I didn't really get to Toxic Stall very many things, which is kind of the point of this team. In comes Infernape. This thing's scary because it's going to be able to do a lot of damage to my Zapdos, and I've got to switch. I go to Slowbro pretty much as fodder, really, because it's already toxic, and it is a physical wall that resists both of his stabs, actually, so that's pretty cool. Plus it's got massive defense. So right here, I'm going to go for a Slack Off just to see what I can do, because that Flare Blitz did less than half, and I'm not sure if he'd want to go for another one. Plus he's kicking his own ass in the meantime with Life Orb. Unfortunately for me, he didn't Flare Blitz again, so no big deal. And I end up at pretty much the same hit points. He just has a little bit more Life Orb recoil on him. So right now, I'm going to just go for Surf and finish him off. The T-Punch will leave me at about 52 hit points. Exactly 52 as a matter of fact. And the Surf is able to finish off the Infernape. So things are definitely looking up for me. I've managed to recover from those 3 crappy misses that really set me behind. And we're just going to move right along here. Slowbro manages to live the Toxic at 4 hit points, which is pretty sweet because that'll give me Switch Initiative. Even though the Sizer is going to Bullet Punch me, I'm just going to stick around and have my way. So obviously, either Zam wouldn't be too good because he's got Bullet Punch, and I'm just going to go to Zapdos because it'll take anything he wants to do. Even after Stealth Rocks hurt me a little bit, no big deal. I'm going to get the Heat Wave off. It's going to roll his Sizer. It would have wrecked his Scarm too if he tried to switch that in. So that was definitely the play to make. And now I haven't seen his 6th yet. So I'm not sure what it is, but it's definitely scaring me. And it turns out to be Togekiss. So obviously if that thing's got T-Wave and it's got that stupid, what's that move, Air Slash, then things could get a little bit dicey. But it turns out he went for a Flamethrower. And that is not, and I'm not concerned. As soon as I saw that Flamethrower, I was like, yes, I've pretty much got this one in the bag. It is awesome. I get a critical hit, T-Bolt, doesn't matter because this Flamethrower wouldn't have done half anyways. And that pretty much wraps things up because I'm going to be able to take out the Skarmory between a T-Bolt, and he's going to win me away actually into my Dragonite. And Dragonite is going to Outrage for the win. So it was a great match. It was really, really stally and just intricate. Making a lot of switches early on, and definitely rapid spinning away all of his entries like 3 times. That definitely saved the day for me. It took a while before either of us even got a kill, or a feint, a knockout, as it were. But once we did, the cat was out of the bag, and things definitely opened up. So that was, again, a great match between me and Minion, and I want to thank you all who came to my channel after my last video. I definitely noticed the support, and I hope that this will attract even more of you. I've got a 5th gen series with this team pretty much coming up, and I will see you all on the flip side.